Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jonah from Spotlight, and today we are talking to Nancy. Nancy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Nancy. And thank you,
Of course.
everyone, for watching. And thanks for your patience as we got the technical sides sorted out. If there's anyone here from Comcast, please upgrade our upload speeds. We need them. But just set a couple expectations before we get started. Please hop in the chat like you're already doing and let us know where you're tuning in from, that you can hear and see us all right, something you're excited to learn, maybe how you heard about Nancy, how you heard about Spotlight. We love hearing all of that. And if you're watching the replay as well, please hop in the comments, ask those questions, let us know how you're doing. We do come back and love reading all of that. And if you have any questions throughout Nancy's presentation, please drop them in the comments. If we don't get them right away, we are not ignoring you. We have set aside time at the end to do a proper Q&A, so we will get to all those questions at the end. And if things are moving fast, you have to get up away from the computer, life happens, don't sweat. All of this will be available in a replay. It'll be on the YouTube channel, on the Spotlight event page, and also emailed to you along with the course offer, which we'll talk about a little later. But to dive in, like I said, we are talking to Nancy and we are talking about the 4-step framework for a profitable Etsy shop. We're going to discover the steps you need to take to start, manage, and scale your Etsy shop to a full-time income. Nancy, I know you got a lot to share with us, and I don't want to hog up any more time, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you, everyone, for signing up for this free workshop. I hope everyone is having a terrific day. You're safe at home due to COVID, and I hope that by the end of this workshop, you guys have actionable tips that you could take to either start, manage, or even scale your Etsy shop. So, today we're going to be talking about the 4-step framework that I came up for a profitable Etsy shop. And let me go ahead and go to the screen here. And for those of you that are attending first time, you don't know who I am, my name is Nancy, like Jonah said, and I help Etsy sellers turn their passion into profits by teaching them the exact steps needed to be taken in order for you to start, manage, and scale your Etsy shop to a full-time income. And I'm going to be your masterclass host today. Now, you are in the right place if you feel like your assisting Etsy shop has incredible potential to grow, but you haven't figured out how to do it and you're struggling with getting traffic and consistent sales. You want to open an Etsy shop, but you feel like the market is too saturated with products to make a real income as a seller on Etsy. And you're tired of wasting time, money, and energy on methods that give you zero results. So, my promise to you today on this workshop is that I'm going to deliver as much value as humanly possible in this free 60-minute workshop. Nothing I will teach today is based on theory, and everything you will learn has already been tested and proven to work. Now, in return, I ask that you keep an open mind about the new information you're going to learn today, that you take plenty of notes so you could begin to implement what you will learn today. So, tips for watching this workshop. Again, just get in a quiet room, turn off your phone so that you could devote your full attention to this workshop. I know that you guys work really hard, and I want you to treat yourself to 60 minutes of focused learning. Close your tabs and any extra apps to increase bandwidth, especially if you're using it on a desktop like I am. Now, during this workshop, like Jonah said, I'm going to be talking about 3 of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to starting an Etsy shop, the 4-step framework for creating a profitable Etsy shop, and then I'll give you an overview of my Etsy mastery course right at the end, and then we'll go into questions. So, I am a mom, I am a wife, and when I'm not helping people scale their business to the next level, I can probably be found playing around with my son Jordan, and he's a toddler right now. So, as you can imagine, a lot of energy nonstop from the moment he wakes up to when he goes to sleep. So, my story, just to kind of give you a little bit of a background, I started on Etsy back in October 2016. When I started, it was all an idea. My story is I started my career as a digital marketing specialist 12 years ago. I'm here with some of the biggest bloggers like Zach Johnson, John Show. This is to give you some credibility that I've been around in the space for 12 years. I've done a lot of press. I've done Google affiliate marketing networks, a lot of summits. I met some amazing people throughout my 12 years. And when I started Etsy, like I said, I had no prior experience when it came to creating handmade items. In 2014, I got engaged to my amazing husband Cornelius, and a friend of mine told me to shop on Etsy for personalized wedding items. So it was my first time hearing about Etsy. Like many of you guys, maybe you shopped there before you even decided to open a store. And I couldn't wait to learn more about getting personalized items for my wedding, like any other bride, right? And I remember like it was yesterday, scrolling through Etsy, finding personalized wedding invites. I checked out all of these beautiful shops, but what was stuck in my mind was how many of them were making a living of passive income by selling on Etsy. So I ended up buying a do-it-yourself like invite, sitting chart, a couple other signs, and I spent $65 and had my files instantly. And I thought to myself, this person just made $65 out of me, but didn't do any work because these were do-it-yourself items. Now, I want to make sure that I don't say that incorrectly, right? The person did do the work. They created the files, they marketed their store, right? They uploaded their files, they did XCSEO, they did everything for me to find the product. But once I purchased the product, because they were do-yourself digital products, basically I download them, I edit them, I put the information, I save it, and I take it to my local printing service and I pay for printing. So everything else after I buy, I was in charge of doing. So that was really interesting to me. So I decided to do the same thing, start my own Etsy store in 2016. I did it more of a case study for my blog. And within the first month, I ended up making $102 without having any experience in handmade items or designing products. I knew how to market myself. Remember, I've been doing digital marketing at that point about nine years. So I knew how to market myself. I knew how to use social media. I knew how to do brand reputation. I knew how to do social listening. I knew all of these things, how to find my audience, but I didn't know how to create products. I wasn't as crafty as other people. And I also made a lot of mistakes during the first 6 months on Etsy. And one mistake was risking my store getting suspended because I was selling quotes that were copyrighted. So I used copyrighted quotes that I saw everyone else using on Etsy, and I thought it was okay until I received several infringement notices. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that. Maybe you have done the same mistake like I have. Maybe you were thinking of doing it, now you know better. But that did happen to me. And I want to be transparent because you are going to make mistakes as you go. This was like one huge mistake that I made. And this is like the screenshot right here on the computer. When I was creating my products, I basically was doing it in Word document. I would take quotes, put it in Word document, save it as a JPEG PDF file, and sell that on Etsy. That's how I started. I wasn't using Photoshop, Canva, Illustrator. I really didn't know about these programs. Anytime I needed any type of like graphic design, I always hire someone to do that for me. So this was pretty new to me. But this is how bad it was. I was doing it in Word document. So I took it upon myself to learn about intellectual property and decided to go a different route. And after countless hours of creating, at this point, I had over 1,000 listings. I already had built my social media. I was working on my Etsy shop nonstop. I decided to start from scratch again because everything I had in there, all the quotes from music, TV shows, movies, I mean, I couldn't use. So you could just imagine this was my breaking point. I either had the option to just give up and say, I gave this a try and it's not for me, or make better decisions the next time around. So I decided to start again my Etsy shop, this time around selling wedding printables since I kind of had developed a little bit of a passion for it. I already had planned my wedding and gotten married by this time. So my first year in Etsy, I ended up making a bit over 21,000, and I tripled my income the second year. So I now have sold both physical and digital products on Etsy, and it has been life changing for me and my family. So I know that it could be life changing for you as well. So just think about that for a second. Imagine if you made an extra 20,000 in next year, or even an extra 10,000. Think about that for a second. For some people, it's just an extra 1,000. For me, that's what it was. If I could just make 1,000 a month extra, that will make a big difference. So it just depends on your monthly goals, but it definitely could happen for you. And how could that change your life? Would it pay off your debt? Would it help you save money for a family vacation? Would it help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, which I was there, spend more time with family, quit your day job, have financial freedom, right? These are the things that could happen. So, what I want to do now is kind of focus, now that you know a little bit of who I am, how I got started, kind of a little bit of my background. I wanted to talk about now three of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to starting an Etsy business. And misconception number one, this is questions that I get or comments that I get all the time, is the market is too saturated with products to make a real income as a seller on Etsy. So, the most common mistake many Etsy sellers make, including myself, is not making unique products and making it harder to stand out in a saturated market. So, you ultimately blend in with others instead of standing out. So you need to offer a unique product that makes it a no-brainer for the prospective buyer to purchase from you. And this is where the unique selling propositions comes into place. Later on this workshop, I'm going to talk about that and why it's so important that any product that you create has their own unique selling proposition. Misconception number two is, if I add all random products to my shop, I will finally start getting sales. I get this all the time. So you are selling t-shirts, keychains, hats, books, shoes, and handbags and everything else. This is another big mistake many Etsy sellers make, is trying to wing it, right? By adding all sorts of different products in the shop, thinking the more products, the more sales they will get. However, if you don't understand who is your ideal customer, or what does your ideal customer want, or what makes you different from your competitors, it ultimately is going to leave you, and it leaves them with not getting any sales or growing on Etsy. So you might get periodically some sales, but if you really want to build a sustainable business for the long run, a business that you could quit your day job now and make Etsy your full-time job, you need to really focus on being niche down and not start with too many products, because it's going to be so much harder for your brand messaging. And when you're targeting people and trying to find your target audience, it's going to be so much harder if you're trying to wing it by adding all sorts of different products. Misconception number three is, I get a lot of shop visits and favorites, but they're not translating into sales. Etsy might not be right for me. So this one comes with a lot of different things. A lot of people feel this way after a month of selling on Etsy. A lot of people feel this way after months selling on Etsy. And the main reason why those shop visits are not translating into actual sales is that the prospective buyers are already overwhelmed with so many options when it comes to shopping on Etsy, right? So you want to focus again on making your product unique. So unique products that are different and memorable enough that they could see that what you have to offer, they cannot get elsewhere. If you make the same product like everyone else or very similar, you're going to get those customers that are going to be shopping around. They're going to like your listing, they're going to go to the other store, and they're going to find the listing that offers either the least in pricing, or maybe they offer something extra that you don't offer. But when you create something unique that no one else is creating, it's going to make that effect of like, hey, I need to buy from the store because no one else is offering what they offer. Ultimately, that's what you have to think about every single product that you produce and that you create for your Etsy store. So again, making it a no-brainer to buy from you and even pay premium price. So premium price meaning somebody else sells something similar, right? At $6, but you sell yours as $15, and people are willing to pay that premium price because they know that they can't get what you sell. They can't find that nowhere else, or they have looked and they couldn't find it nowhere else. So if you want to start making money, you need a profitable framework in place. And within 1 year, I made 21,000 my first year on Etsy. And you may be thinking, I don't even know where to start. So that's where my Etsy mastery comes into place. I wanted to kind of show you what my students are saying about the course and how easy it is to get started. And then after this, we're going to jump into the core training of this workshop. So these are some of the reviews that I've gotten. I've have students that have their Etsy ads have gotten 5 times return on investment in the last 30 days, just from simply fixing their SEO, their titles. I have other students that they're just grateful for the experience because I do a lot of hand holding. And what I mean by that is more of I just don't tell you what to do, I show you what to do. And in my Etsy Mastery course, we also have a very supportive group where if you have any questions, you take a lesson and you're stuck on that lesson, you can actually ask me questions on the pin thread that I revise every single day or that I look at every single day, Monday through Sunday. So you will have access to me 24/7 pretty much. And these are other students that I have. I have James that started in, I want to say it was August. And by October, he had made 4,000. Oh, he started July, excuse me. And by October, had made 4,849 in revenue. I have my other student, Bennett, that in 2 months, she made $9,504. Obviously, they have more high ticket price. They don't sell digital products, but this could happen to anyone if you have the right framework in place. This is another student of mine, Melinda. She joined in the middle of May, and her monthly income was stuck at earning a couple $100s a month. She was trying to build momentum, but nothing was like barely working. So when she enrolled in my Etsy Mastery course, within 2 months, she actually started a printable store, even though she was selling physical products, and she made $494 with no experience in selling printables. And then the second shop that was earning her a couple $100s a month took off, and in July she went from hundreds of dollars to $8,450. So you read that right. You read that correctly. Now she has a repeatable process that she could follow month after month to make passive income selling printables, and she also applied that to her physical shop. So she has 2 shops now, a digital and a physical shop as well, where she sells tangible items. So my X3 course is great for anyone, regardless of the niche that they're in. So just keep that in mind as well. And the bottom line is that you do have a big opportunity to build a thriving Etsy business or scale your existing shop to the next level, but you won't make any money without a strategy in place. So right now we're going to start talking about the 4-step framework for a profitable Etsy shop. So tip number 1 is audience. This is so important. Like, who is your ideal customer? It usually is going to be someone with a problem your product or your services is designed to solve. So when you're identifying your target audience, you need to ask yourself, what problem does my potential customer have? What's the solution to that problem? And why would people pay money for my product? This is how you're able to identify your target audience. And you could probably sell your product or service to a lot of different people, but to make money, like real money, like make 1,000 a month, 5,000 a month, and be able to scale it, you need to pick one. Don't get lost in the noise. Don't get in the shiny syndrome. I want to try this product. I want to try to create this, try to create that. Just stick to one audience and one niche product and go with that as you grow your business. Again, consumers are overwhelmed with options and they want to quickly understand what makes one product or brand different than others. That's the number one thing. So, knowing the right way to position yourself and your products can be the difference between standing out and blending in. So, it's important again to define your brand, have a solid, unique selling proposition. A strong, unique selling proposition lets you stand apart from the competitors and actively focus your energy on creating things that cater to your ideal group of customers. This is how you build a sustainable business, because now not only do you know who is your target audience, not only are you creating products that solves a problem for them, now you're going to be creating additional products that keep solving additional problems for them. And this is how you're able to, one, get new leads and make money from new leads, but two, make sure that you focus on retention on the existing customers that you currently have. And this is how you build a business for the long run, that you will make money all the time, no matter what happens on the algorithm, no matter what happens anywhere else, because you have control of who you are targeting, you know your niche market, and you're building a brand that people are going to think of you as someone credible, as an industry leader within that niche. So your unique selling proposition plays to your strength and should be based on what makes your product or services uniquely valuable for customers. So make sure that from here on, when you're creating products, you always add your unique selling proposition to them. Tip number 2 for the framework is optimize. So getting crystal clear on the target audience and offering something unique and irresistible is the first step in drawing in shoppers. And we just talked about that now. However, many contributing factors affect your search placement in the feed. So you can't just think, okay, I have a product, I'm going to list it and it's going to sell. You got to optimize your store. So understanding how XCSEO works, how the algorithm works is really important, because that's how it determines where your listing is going to rank. So we're going to be talking about this now. So you want to make sure that your shop and listings are optimized for SEO so prospective buyers can find your product. But you also want to make sure that your buyers have an amazing experience when they shop and buy from you. So keep in mind that not only do you need to optimize your store for SEO, you need to make sure that you have great reviews, you have completed your About Me section, and that you have also completed the shop policies. All of these things help your placement in the search results. I'm going to say this again. All of these things, having great reviews, completed About Me section, and completed shop policies, help you rank higher in the placement. There's something called the customer market experience. If you open an Etsy store and you don't do these things, like you don't have your About Me section filled out and you don't have your completed shop policies filled out, at least those two things that you have control over, Etsy actually reduces your visibility, because they want people that when they're selling on Etsy, they're taking it serious. Like this is a business for them as soon as they open shop. So that's the first thing you need to focus on before you start adding listings, before you start optimizing, changing SEO, doing anything else, is making sure that your store looks complete. On top of that, you have a shop banner, you have a shop icon, you have a logo, etc. Those little things. But these are the ones that actually impact your visibility. And that's the reason why I wanted to make sure that I include this in here. Great reviews will come with time, but try not to get bad reviews, because if you do have bad reviews or cases open against your store, that does also hurt your visibility. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, I'm going to talk about now, share with you guys some SEO best practices when optimizing your listing. So the first thing is called title and tag relevancy. So exact phrase matches are stronger than matches on individual words. And words or phrases that appear in both the title and tags of listings are considered more relevant than a listing with that word or phrase in the tags or title alone. This will help your listings rank higher. So, what this means, just to kind of make it easier to understand, is that whatever tags you're using, the 13 tags that you're using for people to find you, you have to use them also in your title. You want to make sure you include them. One of the things that I see a lot when I'm doing Etsy critiques is that the tags that the people are using in their tags, they have one of the tags in the title, but then they have a whole bunch of other stuff like instant download or ships within 24 hours. They have other irrelevant tags or wording on the title, and they're not getting the visibility that they deserve because they're not doing title and tag relevancy. So that's the first thing you need to make sure that you do, is make sure that you include all your tags or as many tags as possible, because you're not going to be able to fit all of them. It's only 140 characters, the limit in your title. But make sure that you have your focus keyword and you have additional keywords that when people are reading it organically, it reads fine. It's not a list of keywords that you're just stuffing in there, but that is one, optimized for SEO, but two, is user friendly for the customer. When they're reading it, is easy for them to read. Another thing you want to focus on is using long tail keywords, because they are, one, less competitive, they're better targeted for traffic, they have higher conversion rates, and they're great for highly competitive niches. So if the tag happens to be longer than 20 characters, break them down into two tags and break them into the same order. So if you're using the tags, don't separate them, just put them one after the other. This is really, really important. Long tail keywords are very crucial, because if you use the word, let's say that you sell jewelry and you just use the word only jewelry, jewelry could be anything, right? It could be earrings, it could be a necklace, it could be a ring. But if you use the word as a long tail keyword, vintage earring jewelry, that's more focused, right? When somebody actually searching for vintage earring jewelries, let's say that's the word, I'm just making this up as I go. If they're searching for that and they come across your listing, they're more likely to buy from you because they're searching with an intent. They know what they're searching for. Another example would be if you sell shoes, don't use the word shoes by itself. Add some heavy qualifiers on it, meaning add other words on it and make it a long tail keyword. So a long tail keyword would be running, women's running shoes. That's more specific. That's what you sell. Because shoes could be anything. It could be for toddlers, it could be for babies, it could be for adults, it could be for seniors. But if you have the word woman's running shoe, that's very specific. If someone types that in on the search results and they come up with, or they do a search query and they come up with, they see your listing and you have what they're looking for, they're more likely to buy from you. This is why focusing on long tail keywords really drives the right people to your store. When you use single words that are very broad or very generic, you get a lot of views, but it hurts your conversion rate, because what happens now is the more people see your listing and the less people buy from you, it hurts your conversion and it hurts your placement in the search feed. Xe says, well, no one's really clicking on the listing. They're not buying. A lot of people saw it. And over time, your listing will tank. The majority of the reason why a lot of listings tank, even though their products probably are really good, is because of Xe SEO. They didn't choose the right tags. Another thing is recency. So Xe's algorithm reviews how recent an item was listed or relisted. So this is a huge tip. If you have to fix the SEO of an old listing, what you want to do is duplicate the listing, fix SEO or fix the photo or whatever you're doing, right? And publish as a new listing. This is going to give you a small boost in the search feed because it's considered a new listing, and you will have a better chance of getting a higher listing score. The boost can last, this is from the Xe handbook, a few hours to a few days. So if you're lucky enough, it will be a few days. But every time that you list a new product, it gets a temporary boost. And the reason why is because Xe wants to see how your listing compares to your competitors. And based on how people engage with it, that's how they decide, okay, are you going to be on page 1 or are you going to be on page 20? So this is why, one, having a unique product is the first start, right? Two, making sure you use the right tags is the second part. So when you do this part and you publish on your listing, or you are fixing an old listing and you publish it as a new listing, you have a higher chance of placing higher in the search results. So this is how the algorithm works. So it's really important. Now you will pay 20 cents extra for the new listing, and the old listing you could either, one, delete, or two, keep for A/B testing. I highly recommend doing a lot of A/B testing just to see if by fixing these tags and comparing it to the previous listing to see how it performed. The more you know about Xe stats, the more you look at it, the more you know about what works and what doesn't work, the easier it will be for you to have listings and become bestsellers and rank higher. But you need to look at this data. So I don't recommend deleting it off bat. I recommend keeping it and then doing a comparison later. Now, another additional two contributing factors are categories and attributes. So, categories, by adding specific categories that match or are relevant to your products, that's what you want to do. So, why? Because when you add specific subcategories to your listings, your items are included in all the categories that the subcategory is nested within. So, it allows your product to match with the search, which equals more traffic. In addition to that, attributes. They work similar to categories and help the listing be found in the Etsy search results. So using attributes is just another way of optimizing your listing to the fullest potential to increase the likelihood of someone finding your products and services. So one thing I didn't say in the beginning is that there's 4 contributing factors to Etsy SEO. Title and tag relevancy, categories, and attributes. These are the 4 areas that help you rank on the search results. I will say it again: title and tag relevancy, making sure that your tags are in your title. You're making sure you choose the right categories and making sure that you choose the right attributes. Now, if you're listing a product, don't add every attribute either, because they do act like tags. So when somebody's doing a search query on Etsy, and if they pick the color pink as an attribute, but the product that you're selling, they say the jewelry that you're selling is not pink, it's gold, that hurts your conversion. So you want to make sure that you pick in the right attributes that are relevant to your product. You want to make sure that you pick the right category. If you choose the wrong category, it could tank your listings. I had a student that picked the wrong category. As soon as she fixed it, she started selling. It was that simple. She didn't do no other changes besides the categories. So just be mindful when you're choosing categories, when you're choosing attributes, that you pick the right ones. And for attributes, again, if there's none for you for your product, then leave it blank, but don't just add an attribute to add one, or don't skip this part if you never do it, because potentially it's going to help you get more traffic to your store. And keep in mind the advantage of selling on Etsy versus your website versus, let's say, Shopify. The advantage of selling on Etsy is that you already have a built-in traffic already there. There's millions of people that shop on Etsy every single day. So that's why many people start with Etsy, and eventually they transition to having their own website once they build their brand, once they have an audience. But if you are starting out and you don't have an audience, you don't have an email list, you don't have an online presence, this is your first time starting a business, then Etsy is the best place to go to. But Etsy SEO is a crucial thing that you have to do in order to get that traffic, because you don't have any at the moment. So again, Etsy SEO should absolutely be a part of your marketing plan, but not the entirety of it. Too many people just focus on Etsy SEO. They don't do anything else. So the next framework that I'm going to be talking about is traffic. So I recommend choosing one additional traffic source that you're going to be driving traffic from to your Etsy store. So I recommend Pinterest. Pinterest by far is going to give you the best results. Is my number one platform. If you ever hear me talk about it on my YouTube channel or anywhere else that I create content on, Pinterest is by far the best platform I have ever used for my business, not only for my Etsy business, for my affiliate marketing and everything else that I do online. So if you want to dominate on your niche and become an authority, then Pinterest is a place to be, because Pinterest makes it easy to drive traffic back to your Etsy shop. It'll help you increase conversion. It's going to help you grow your email list on autopilot. And when you use Pinterest the correct way, you could see results right away. Unlike other platforms, like I'll say it, Facebook or even Instagram, where you have to pay to play or you got to crack the algorithm. Pinterest is just like Etsy is. It's a search engine. It just works by optimizing your keywords. You don't have to worry about how many people actually engage. Yes, that is important, but if you follow Pinterest SEO the right way, everything else will happen: the clicks, the engagements, and you'll start driving traffic to your Etsy store and any other place you want to drive traffic to, which that's why I mentioned email list, because you could build your email list with Pinterest super, super easy. So this is my account on Pinterest. Is the account that I have the least followers. And it's the account that drives me the most traffic, which is crazy because I have accounts that have like 86,000, or my YouTube has about 94,000 subscribers. I drive more traffic through Pinterest than any other platform. So I absolutely recommend it for anyone out there. And this is just an example that I wanted to show you guys. This is from November to December. I did like a 30-day snap, and I got 136,000 clicks to my products and services using Pinterest. This is all organic. I'm not running any ads. This is just strictly from my pins. So imagine if you drove 100,000, or when you're starting out, even 1,000 a month to your email list or to your Etsy store or any other destination you want to drive traffic to. This is how powerful it is. So I wanted to give you some actionable tips when using Pinterest. I think these are the top things you have to do. The number one mistake that you can make on Pinterest is not having a focused niche and leaving people confused on what exactly you offer. As you can see, this is the same thing. When you're using Etsy, you have to have a focused niche. When you use Pinterest, the same thing, because you're going to confuse your target audience. You're going to confuse not only your target audience but also Pinterest algorithm. So if you're not focused on building your brand and having a niche, you're going to attract the wrong audience. You're going to show your products and services to people who are really not interested in what you're selling. And if you don't attract the right audience, then you're just another Pinterest user, right? You're not going to get the results. Another thing is focus on providing value. So stop focusing on growing your business as much and provide value to your products and services. And there's no easy way to grow your customer base than providing value and having those customers promote your brand for you, because it will happen over time. Now, providing value could be different things. Maybe you sell, I have a student that sells anxiety bracelets. So her content, she creates a lot of content that is searchable content, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So she creates a lot of content on how to ease your anxiety, top 10 bracelets that help you with anxiety. All of these bracelets are the ones that she sells, but that's what she provides. That's value. So think about your product. What does it solve? And create searchable content around those pain points that your customers are having. That's how you that's how you build credibility. That's how you drive traffic. That's how you grow your brand. So make sure, again, to create content that your target audience is searching for that solves a problem. By creating the proper content, that will get you noticed, get clicks, repins, that eventually turns into sales and help you grow your email list as well. So stop being all over the place and focus on your brand to become an authority in your niche, which will help you stand out from your competitors and turn visitors into customers. The last one is, don't make the mistake of treating Pinterest as a social media platform. So Pinterest is a search engine. So make sure that you are optimizing your Pinterest account and content for SEO to boost your Pinterest account visibility in the search results. Tell Pinterest who you are and what you do. You add that in your bio. Also name your boards to reflect phrases people are likely searching for. In addition, make sure that you add rich keywords to your pin descriptions. So you want to optimize not only your bio, your title, your boards, but also your pin description for SEO. So when you're getting started, right, it could feel like an overwhelming task to master all social media. If this is your first time, you're feeling anxious about the complexity and volume that goes into making content for different platforms such as Pinterest or Instagram. Again, like I said in the beginning, I recommend starting small by focusing on one platform at a time until things become more natural. I recommend Pinterest. Just go with Pinterest. Start with Pinterest. Once you have mastered Pinterest, you're bashing out your content. I personally take one time a month. I bash out, I do about 30 to 90 minutes, sometimes a little longer. And in 90 minutes, I bash out my whole month's worth of content and I'm done. And then maybe once in a while, I'll go to Pinterest to pin something or a video that I did or an interview that I did or something that wasn't scheduled. but I really don't do that much on Pinterest. It's that simple. And that's the reason why I always recommend Pinterest, because you'll get traction right away with Pinterest. You'll start seeing traffic, and it's the easier platform, in my opinion, after testing all of these different platforms to grow. So start with one, master that one. And once you feel more comfortable, then head to another one. And eventually, kind of use the ones that your customers hang out. Like if you know your customers are Instagram, then start using Instagram to promote and continue to grow your business. But start very small in the beginning, because I know that from experience and from working with a lot of my students, it can be quite overwhelming trying to do 20 different platforms plus Etsy and trying to learn everything that you need to learn to kind of master Etsy as well. And tip number 4 for the framework is convert. So in business, there are 3 fundamental strategies to grow and survive: generate new leads, convert more leads right into sales, and retain customers by encouraging them to continue doing business for life. So this is one that I see all the time. We're so focused on the next lead, on the next lead, on the next lead, that we forget about the ones that we currently have. So you definitely need to focus on on the customers you have. Retention is so important. The customers that you have now are going to help you build a sustainable business, because they're the ones that are going to be buying from you over and over and over, because you're going to be creating, right, like I said in the beginning, products that cater to them. So you need to make sure that not only are you focusing your energy on new leads, that you also focus your energy on retaining the customers you have now. So this is the final step in the framework, is figuring out how to convert the traffic you're getting from SEO, Google, Pinterest, and any other platform you're using to promote your shop. If you did the work, then you should have a unique product, right, that people want to buy. However, what happens to the people that are not ready to buy yet, right? Not every single person that comes in contact with your store the first time around is going to buy from you. A lot of times it takes them like 5, 6, 7 times to engage with that particular brand before they even take action. So you need to have systems in place. And one of them is email marketing. You need to have an email list set up for your store, because a lot of the people that come to your store are not going to buy. They're going to leave, and most likely they're not going to come back. So you need to have systems in place. And what I recommend is either choosing your own email provider, or you could choose from Etsy's approved partners. They are partnered with AppWeber at the moment. And what I recommend is creating a lead magnet where you offer an incentive to your target audience for the exchange of their email. Um, and you could either create a lead magnet or an incentive. Offer one of the two. If you simply tell people, hey, join my email list, that's not enough. Not in the beginning, where you're not, people don't really know you yet. They don't know you as a brand. It's really, really important that one, either you offer something of value, or two, you are giving them some sort of incentive. Never give an incentive in your store without an email. So, you know how sometimes people will have in their banner, use this code to get 20% off? It's better if you say, join here to get 20% off. Always use that as a way to get them to get in your email list. So that way you could build a relationship with them over time. You can nurture that email list by creating an email sequence of emails that are sent out, let's say once a week. So therefore, you could build that customer relationship. And even if they didn't buy from you the first time, maybe by the time that they receive the 5th email, they'll buy from you. That's how you build and scale your store. But you need to have email marketing in place. And when you have your lead magnet or whatever you're offering, you need to add this to your banner, to your listing photos. In your About Me section is the only place that Etsy allows you to add a hyperlink that goes outside of Etsy, and anywhere outside of Etsy where you promote your business. Another issue with email marketing is that many people can't get their email list growing or traction because they don't promote it enough. They added it on the photo, maybe on the description, and that's all they did. They never promoted outside of Etsy. They never promoted when a customer actually asked them information, and then you built that relationship with them that maybe you could offer them to join. They never promoted enough. So you want to make sure that you promote it enough, because that's the way that you're going to grow your list a lot quicker. And this is just an example of my smaller store that I use for tutorials. I have my link in my banner. I also have some of the listings have this little banner where it says, grab this free guide, and I have the link there. I also use it in my signature, my Etsy signature on the bottom. So if the customer clicks on it, they click on it. And then I also have it in my About Me section. Obviously, when I promote my business, my brand overall, I have links everywhere. And that's how I'm able to grow my email list. I think right now I'm averaging about 128 emails per day, but that's because of this effort. It's because of the effort I put behind it to grow it. I just don't add in one place and hope that it will grow. And not only do I don't just add in many places, I also promote it. Like I said, you have to promote it. So this framework is not just a bunch of theories. It has all been tested and proven to work by me and hundreds of my students. And it's just as simple as that. Pick a product that's unique, irresistible, different, memorable. Make sure that you take advantage of Xy's built-in traffic, Xy SEO. Make sure that you use at least one platform outside of Xy to start growing your brand, to start driving more traffic. In addition to that, make sure that you start email marketing. So when you're driving traffic from either Xy SEO or from Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube or whatever other platform you're using, you have systems in place that if they don't buy the first time around, hopefully they'll join your email list and then they'll buy from you later. So having this framework is the best framework you're going to have. And as you start growing your business, you're going to be adding additional things. But this is the best way to start your Etsy store. Or if you have an existing one and you never did anything with it or didn't have like a framework. Now, if you take one thing away, anything from everything I just talked about, I want you to know that you could start and scale your Etsy shop by just having a unique product that's irresistible for your target audience. When I first started my Etsy business, and I didn't mention this in the beginning, I didn't have, because I started all over again. So I didn't start the social media the second time around. So I didn't have any additional marketing besides Pinterest was the only thing I was using at that moment. But I wasn't using email marketing, and I wish I would have used it a lot quicker. Now, for that particular store, my main store has about 58,000 subscribers, and mostly from Pinterest. That's how I have gotten them organically. But you don't necessarily have to have this and this and this and this to make a successful store. There are many people that start a store. They are successful because they have something unique and different. You could always add these additional things later. Do it sooner than later. But if you are overwhelmed, the one thing I could say is make sure that your product is unique, because it doesn't matter if you have all these things set up. If you have a product that's not unique, not different, you don't know your niche market, you don't know what problem you solve, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow. So I developed a 4-step framework that makes it easy to create your own, successful Etsy store. And I have outlined that system for you today. So the big question is, how can you apply this framework to your own Etsy shop, right? And tap into the power of scaling your shop into a full-time income. So you have two choices. You could do choice one. You could waste tons of time and effort trying to figure out everything by yourself, or you could fast track your results with my step-by-step program, the Etsy Mastery Course. So I wanted to kind of give you a bird's eye view of what you will learn each week in my proven program. Make sure to stick around to the end because it's going to be a huge bonus. And also, if you have questions, start typing them in if you have not yet, so I could answer them as well. So the Etsy Mastery Course is separated into different modules. Module 1 is your business foundation. So you're going to dish the imposter syndrome and become an expert without feeling like a fraud. I'm going to teach you how to validate your product ideas, how to find out if a niche is profitable, so you could kickstart your Etsy business the right way. Module 2 is clarifying your brand message and offer. This is a really big one for many people. Get crystal clear on your brand messaging and offer so you could attract the right audience for your products. So I would teach you proven tactics to increase your customer lifetime value by effectively creating products that cater to your target audience that they will want to buy from you over and over again. Module 3 is creating an Etsy shop for success. So the path to success on Etsy obviously is fraught with pitfalls and obstacles, but to avoid the mistakes that your competition makes, you need to have a clear understanding of how things work before trying them out. So I'm going to teach you how to properly build a memorable Etsy shop to become an authority in your niche and stand out, even if you decide to sell something that is in a saturated market. Module number 4 is Etsy SEO, which is arguably probably the most important module. So you're going to steal my Etsy SEO strategies on how to rank your products within minutes and gain visibility for your shop. And you will have a complete breakdown of how Etsy's algorithm works, the things you have control of, and how to explode your Etsy traffic. And module number 5 is start, manage, and grow your Etsy shop. So learn how to build a sustainable Etsy business for the long run. So I will teach you what it takes in terms of how to charge premium prices, how to persuade buyers to buy, and proven and perfected plugin system so you can start making consistent sales with your Etsy business and eventually turn it into a full-time income. So that's the first 5 modules. For my Etsy Mastery course, you get, if you join now, additional bonuses included. You get a whole Pinterest course, how to leverage Pinterest course. Is 48 lessons. The value is $199. You also get a printable course. So if you're thinking about selling art printables, you want to do digital products, you get an entire course value at $199 with the actual course if you were to purchase it today. You also get, this list is growing every month. So you get 19 do-it-yourself digital products. I actually show you how to create different digital products that you could create and sell on Etsy. And I teach you step by step. I just don't tell you, I show you how to do them. You also get an Instagram course. It's 21 lessons on how to grow on Instagram for your Etsy business. You get a whole year's worth of Instagram story prompts. So if you never know what to use to help you gain more visibility or warm up your audience or gain leads or even close out the sales, I give you a whole year's worth of Instagram prompts made for Etsy sellers. So you could use these as well. Many of my students use it for Facebook. They use it for other platforms. You don't necessarily have to just stick with them on Instagram. You also get a bonus of turn Facebook profile into a sales funnel. This is 7 videos included. This is how I've been able to grow my email list as well using Facebook. In addition, you get how to create a successful Facebook fan page for your business. That's 10 simple video lessons. You get how to create a successful Facebook group. I have experience of growing groups all the way to 200,000. My group right now is about, my largest group is about 86,000. So I've learned a thing or two on how to grow a successful Facebook group for your business. And then you get this introduction to Facebook and Instagram course as well. Value at $47. So you get everything I just mentioned. You get course community. I talked about this earlier. The value is $299. You get access to me 24/7, meaning that if you ever get stuck on a lesson, you have a question, I have a dedicated spot where you put your questions for me and I will answer within 24 hours or less every single day. I've been doing this now for 2 years now. So you'll have bi-weekly coaching as well. I do Facebook Lives. But this is really, really important because a lot of times when you buy courses, you never see the course creator again, or you're talking to the admin all the time. I do have an admin that she helps me, but I make it a point that I address every question and she just approves people in the group, and that's all she does. So regular price, I charge $597. And right now you could join for a lifetime access for the entire system value at over $1,200 for only a one-time payment of $47. That's all you're paying today. And the question isn't if you will make your money back, is how many times you will be able to do it. So this proven system is for doers only. You do the work and you definitely will get the results. So now that you kind of know the framework and I went over everything, I kind of wanted to go ahead and address any questions you guys have. So I'm going to go ahead and let Jonah let me know what questions and we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you for everyone who's been watching and active in the comments. I love people are asking questions, answering each other's questions, diving in to their own work and everything. I did want to call out that the link to the course is in the description. It's pinned at the top of the comments. And just a couple people chiming in here. Nancy, you are a great saleswoman. I am sold and getting your course. And then Christy also said, if anybody is on the fence, Nancy is the real deal. This is an awesome course, very comprehensive. Once in her Facebook group, there's a lot of help from both Nancy and other
Oh,
members. And so
thank
just wanted
you.
to call that out. It's really cool anytime we see people who are already in the course still
Mhm.
attending the events and getting more value. But we do have a bunch of questions here. So I want to dive in.
Okay, sure.
And I'm gonna skip to a little later one here that Marilyn asked. How do you get specific help? I understand some of the generic info. It's the specific stuff I need, changing the logos, all those kind of things. I'm asking this first because I'm curious. Do you find somewhere like your Facebook group or those communities, that's where you can get that specific help?
Yeah, I used to think, when I created the course, I thought about creating a course that one is for very beginners, but also for people that are advanced. Because what I started noticing, the trend that I started noticing, I thought my audience was like 25 to 35. But to be honest, my audience is a little bit older. I'm older too. I'm going to be 40 in like 2 weeks, but my audience starts around like 40 to like 60. I have students that are like 80, 70. I was so
Hmm,
surprised.
that's
So
cool.
it's very cool. So what I'm trying to do, I'm actually at the moment just finished redoing the entire course. I even have like a checklist here of all the things I've been updating. And what I've been trying to do is be more hands-on to the point that when I create the logo, not only do I talk about, okay, this is important to do, I have an additional video below that I walk you through on how to do that additional step. So if you're looking for Maryland for additional help, you will get that. I also survey my audience a lot. So when I send a survey out to my students on how can I improve the course, I appreciate all the feedback because that's why this is the third time I have changed the course because I'm adding all of the feedback that everyone is telling me.
Mm,
And the most common thing has been this is I do get a lot of people that need a little bit more. So I'm trying to give you the tools that you will be successful, Maryland, enough that you don't need hand holding. But if you need it, at least you have the resource there for the people that need it. If you don't need it, then you skip that video. But if you need that additional help, then you'll have it there as well. Mhm.
love it, love it. And I am going to hop to another question from Marilyn because I think it's very relevant to Etsy shops as like there's more and more drop shipping and
Mhm.
companies like that. Do you recommend a specific company to use for print on demand or those kind of products if that's what you want to make your Etsy shop?
Yeah. So when I started my store, I did only digital products. I ended up selling candles as well. But I was gonna sign up with Printify. That's one of the top companies. I ended up not doing it only because my husband was diagnosed with cancer and it was just another thing I had to do with shipping. So I kind of stopped myself. I'm planning to do it next year, but if I had to choose a company, it's Printify. I did my research when I was going to do with them, and they're amazing. So if you are Maryland, if you want to sell print on demands, I highly recommend Printify.
Awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
I can just vouch too. I've used them as well and never had a single problem. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Um, and then I'm going to get one more. Marilyn had a bunch of questions, but a bunch of great questions. And I want to ask this because I've heard quite a few people I've talked to about Etsy shops and stuff be worried a bit about this, just like protecting your product. Do you really worry about that? Is there a best way to do it, or how do you go
Yeah.
about that?
I think the best way to do it is if you have a product, doesn't matter what you sell, whether it's physical or digital, if you have a product that you created 100% that is taking off, that you're selling a lot, um, talk to a legal expert and get a copyright in case something happens. Um, Another thing to do is talk to a legal professional to create a cease and desist letter um, for whatever products you sell, whether they're 100% yours original, like, or if you do digital products like I do, that I create my handmade products, but a lot of the stuff is licensed that I'm buying, right, to use.
Right.
It's gonna happen. It doesn't matter where you sell, whether you sell on Etsy, Amazon, Shopify, your own website, you sell courses, you sell whatever you sell. There are people out there that that's all they do. They steal your products and they try to
Yep.
resell it. Those
Yep.
people usually get shut down. They never make enough money. So if you worry just about that, you would never start a business because that's everywhere. So just come with the mindset that it might happen to you, and hopefully it doesn't. But if it does happen, if you have a cease and desist, a lot of times I actually have that I'll email the person and say, hey, I created this product. You stole my product, my listing description, and even my name is in your signature
Right.
for some reason.
Right.
And they usually do take it out. This is the main reason, and I'm very transparent with this, is the main reason why I started my smaller store. Because when I was
Ah,
doing my bigger store that makes a lot of money, I would showcase that as a way to build a successful store. And I found that the more I grew online, right, my online presence, the more attention my videos got, and more people were copying me and actually stealing from me. So that was kind of my fault for putting it out there. And now I even changed the store name. I made it very private. Um, but for you guys that don't have the audience retention yet, you don't have to worry about it in the beginning as much. It might happen to you over time, or if it becomes a bestseller, but there are steps that you could take to kind of protect yourself as well. Just don't let that kind of stop you, or that fear stop you from starting, because it could really happen to you in any platform, not just Etsy.
so it almost sounds too like that's a problem you might want to have because it means you're big enough that people
Yeah,
right.
sometimes it's
You
a
don't want it, but like
indicator that your
it's
product
a
is doing
good
well.
sign. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Love it. Love it. We got a bunch more questions here, so I'm just gonna keep shooting if that's okay.
Of course.
Uh so 3C on the road was asking, should you have a personal Pinterest account or a business Pinterest account if you're using to market for your
When you're doing anything in business, whether it's Pinterest, Instagram, always business, because that's going to give you the analytics and the dashboard to go in the back end and see what's working, what's not working. If you use the personal one, you can't do affiliate marketing. You can't sell. Pinterest doesn't let you sell on your personal. Some people do it by mistake, but you're not allowed to. So make sure that you do business for everything, not just on Pinterest. That goes for any other platform that you pick.
right. Love it. Moving right along here. Samantha Reed is asking, do you recommend using any SEO tools like eRank or Sales Samurai? Do you use these tools? Do you recommend any?
Yeah, I actually like both of them. I use a lot of different tools for different things. So, for instance, if you're using, you might need more than one tool. I always tell these people, I always tell my students and everyone, you're going to use probably two tools. You're going to use one for Etsy and one for Google. The reason why is
Mm,
because your products are not just shown on Etsy, but also on Google. So, the workshop I talked about today is how to optimize your store for Etsy SEO. So, if you're optimizing your store for Etsy, eRank will be a great tool, because you could go in there, you could see the data that is based on Etsy search. However, when you're optimizing your store outside of Etsy, because you still have to put your tags in your description, and
right.
that's an off-page factor for Google and other large search engines when you add your tags in your description. So that's another tip for you guys. Make sure you add your tags in the description, but that's more for Google and other large search engines to find you. So for that, it will be Self Samurai. So a lot of times people are like, well, I'm using eRank. I can't find keywords that I could rank for. So what I tell them is use a different tool like Google, and not focus so much on what Etsy, but maybe focus more on driving traffic from Google. Because maybe you do have a specific product that's not being searched for on Etsy, but when you look at it on Google and other large search engines, it's a lot more. So a lot of people don't do that search, or they don't know the difference. So they give up on the product thinking it would never sell, when on Etsy, maybe it's not searchable, but on Google, people are searching for it. So I would use both, one for Etsy and one that's outside, like Sell Samurai.
Right. So there's a bit of an ecosystem you have to be playing with, right? It's not
Exactly.
one place. Love it. Love it. Another question coming in here. How would this work for an Etsy shop set in a foreign country? So I imagine you're asking the course, how would the course work? Or do all of these same tips apply? Is it a big difference if you're in a different country?
No, I think the only big difference will be shipping, stuff like
Hmm.
that. When it comes to Etsy SEO, it doesn't matter whether you sell in Spain. I have a Spanish channel as well, and I'm Hispanic. So it doesn't matter whether you sell in Spain or you sell in UK or you sell in the US. Etsy SEO is built the same way. It's almost like blogging. When you blog, it doesn't matter where you're from. It's the same standard. Google has the same rules that applies to anything. So my course is set in a way that is going to help you regardless. That if you want to sell on Etsy, you need to have a unique product, right? If you want to sell on Etsy, you need to have a store that's set up the right way with Etsy best practices. And that's for anyone, no matter where you work at. And also to kind of go back to the other tools, eRank is really great because for many of you guys that are watching that are from different countries, you could actually do keyword research and you could also do competition research based on the country you live in as well.
Mm.
So that's another great tool for anyone that's like in UK and you want to see your competition in UK. You can actually set it up that way as well.
Nice. And so, just to tack on to that question, keeping in the foreign country genre, if I buy your course from Russia, will I be able to ask you some questions? I assume if people have access to Facebook and if they can get on the course, they can still ask you questions, right?
Of course, of course. Like I said in the beginning, I pride myself to be different. I have an actual Facebook thread that's pinned on top of the group. So again, if you take a lesson and you get stuck, you could go in there, put your question for me, and I usually check within 24 hours or less. So it doesn't matter if you want to use, I do a lot of Google Translate, especially for my Spanish channel. So you could use stuff like that. And it's really, really helpful, especially if you feel not comfortable asking in English, you could do Google Translate and it'll put it in English for you and then vice versa. So yes, you can.
Love it. And then a couple questions came up when you were talking about updating your course. Is the current course updated with this information? And then also, is this lifetime and updated when things change? So, can you just confirm? It sounds like you are constantly updating and changing the course. Anyone who buys the course at any time has access to those updates, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So right now I just finished updating it, not so much on Etsy changes, but more on making it more practical, showing more examples, showing step-by-step videos, creating additional worksheets for my students, just learning from the feedback that I've been getting. But yes, anytime something rolls out new, I'm the first one to announce it. I'm the first one to make a quick video about it and put it in the actual course. Now the course is so big that it can be challenging sometimes to get through all of the course, but any new updates, like anything instantly, I update it right away because it's really important for everyone to have that current information.
love it, love it. And then we have time for just a few more questions here, but I'm trying to sort through ones. And Janice was saying, I'm a spiritual author and healer. I've started using Pinterest to sell my book. Is so basically, is Etsy a good complement for selling a book? Is that not a good space for that? Do you have any experience with that? Specifically, because Janet is saying that, or Janice, sorry, is saying that in the future they also want to do like spiritual healing card decks and calendars and stuff like that.
I've seen a lot of stores that have success selling spiritual healing cards, deck, and calendars. The first step, Janice, is making sure that you validate your product ideas. You need to do market research. I recommend you could do market research on Etsy. You don't even need no tools, to be honest. You could just go on Etsy and start searching for stores that sell what you want to sell. And then from there, you can validate. And what I would do is look at stores that are 2 years and younger. Don't look at a store that's been there for 10 years because it'll be harder for you to compete with, especially because they probably already have an audience. But look at stores that are 2 years or younger. And if they're having success, then that means that you have enough room for your product. So that's the first thing. Always validate your product ideas. Never create a product, upload it, and think it's going to sell. It's
Right.
really important to validate it first and then start promoting and selling and doing the changes you have to do. Mhm.
Love it. And then just two more questions
Of
here. That's what we have time for. Sonia is saying, when someone favorites your shop, is it a good idea to reach out to them by thanking and sending them a coupon off? I have some coupons for people that favorite your items, but for those shop favorites. So specifically, that's interesting. When someone's favoriting your shop, not an item, do you have a system for interacting with that person and trying to get a sale?
Yeah, so you have to, with Etsy, there's that borderline of spamming. So you have to be really careful because we are essentially renting a space on Etsy. So learning the do's and don'ts of communicating with your with prospective buyers is a really huge one. So Etsy does have a way that if somebody favorites a listing, it sends out automatically a coupon if you set it up. I don't recall if they have it for your shop, but in my opinion, I don't recommend reaching out to them thanking them, because that could be considered spam. Now, the do's and don'ts of communicating are, if one, they buy from you, you could reach out to say thank you for your order. Did you have any questions? Or when you ship out something, you're able to reach out to them and say, hey, thank you for your order. Here's the shipping number. It has been shipped out. Stuff like that, I highly recommend doing it. There's going to be so many people that are going to tell me, no, that's spammy. Nobody wants to hear that. But imagine you receiving a message of someone telling you, I know Etsy sends the email like your item has been shipped, but the actual seller doing that, it makes an impact on your customers. But the people that haven't bought yet and they favor something, ethically, it's not a bad thing, but for Etsy might be, and it might get your store in trouble. So I don't recommend doing it. However, when they do buy from you, I do recommend not selling items to them, but just saying thank you if you have any questions, because that is allowed by Etsy and it is in their handbook.
Love it. Love it. And then there was just one more question we had time
Yes.
for. And just in general, do you have any lessons on KDP for Amazon? Do you work on any other platforms? Do you have recommendations for those other sources? If people are interested in selling on platforms other than Etsy, I know that's your specialty, but do you have other systems you offer?
No, I mean, to be quite honest, like even though the course is geared towards Etsy, if you just take the main elements of what I'm teaching, you could apply that to any platform. The main lesson that I have, if you want to grow your KDP, like I do a lot of affiliate marketing, it's the same thing. It's growing your brand online, becoming an authority online. If you're going to grow organically, it's going to take more work, right? It's creating a lot of content, valuable content, creating content that solves a problem, creating content that people are going to want to take in and sign up for your email or follow you, etc. The quickest way to kind of grow online is through Facebook advertising. A lot of people don't have the funds for it, but if you don't want to grow like the way that I'm teaching, which is more organically and building a sustainable business in the long run, nothing's going to happen overnight. The
Right.
quickest way is to run like Facebook ads to your products and services. But that also, to be quite honest, you have to know your audience, because if you run an ad and you don't know who your audience is, and you have no information about it, you're going to be spending money and wasting money. So at
Right.
the end of the day, whether you do organically and you pick one platform and you use that to kind of drive traffic to it, or you do Facebook ads or any other form of advertising, you really need to know who your niche market is, and you really need to understand that first in order to succeed. But it comes down, honestly, it really comes down to the four-step framework. One, create a product that is unique, different for your target audience, and then create additional products that they're going to want to buy from you. So therefore, when you're building that email list, you already have, in a year from now, you have 1,000 people that will buy from you again, just from launching a new product or launching a new book or launching a new jewelry set or whatever you want. And that's how you build that traction and that sustainable business for the long run. So focusing on creating products for one specific audience.
Right. So you may not get rich overnight, but in the
Mhm.
long run, you've built a community of people want what you have. So 5 years down the line, every time you email them, you're talking to people who want your product, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're
Yeah.
having a bad day on Etsy or Amazon, whatever platform, you send a quick email, and depending on the price of your product, you can make a quick $3,000 just in one day, just from that one email.
From
It's
the email.
amazing. It's
Right.
hmm
Right. Love it. Well, unfortunately, we do have to wrap up for the day just for time. But if people have any more questions or want to reach out to you, is there a place they can do that?
Yes. For anyone that has any questions that I didn't get to answer, and I do apologize, make sure that you email me at info@nancybadillo.com. And then I will respond within, give me like 48 hours just in case I get a lot of
Yeah,
messages.
that's fair.
Right? I don't want to say I'll respond today and then I get like 100 emails, but definitely I will get back to you with any questions or concerns that you may have.
Love it. Thank you, Nancy, so much for your time and your expertise. Thank you, everyone who's been watching and active in the chat. It's so awesome to see so many people in here trying to figure it out, make their store better, and optimize it all. And take advantage of that discount. It's only there for a week. So hop on it while it's there. And once again, the link is in the description and in the chat. And if you had a good time today, please like and subscribe to the Spotlight channel. We're continuing to bring folks like Nancy out who are offering their expertise in language learning, art, Etsy, all of these things. And we're loving it, always learning and having a good time. And have a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful day here at Spotlight. And thanks for wrapping it up, Nancy. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate all the lovely comments. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.